Okay, so Rev probably put out an article. So we'll watch Andrew's first about the liability. All right, so this is regarding liability in terms of Twitch with what happened at TwitchCon. And then we'll look at the other one in terms of the issue with gifts. So let's take a look at this first, and then we'll go on to the others. I mean, chat, it's more fucking TwitchCon and Twitch, like batshit craziness with this company. So let's go.
TwitchCon did not go well, and we're going to talk about it today on the episode of Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney. I'm back after a short break. It's good to be back with you guys, and it's good to have some time
he talks
myself.
about
that. So let's get right into it. We've got, of course, a PP for you today, a nice PowerPoint on the death of Twitch. It's actually several issues.
Hang on. Yeah, I forgot. I always forget when Andrew whips out his PP, I need to come over here. Because we all know it's like when Andrew whips out his PP, chat.
Phrasing.
Hang on. What is going on here? Why can I not? What the hell? Okay, fuck it. All right. There we go.
Issues that are really compounding for Twitch, some of which we've been talking about on this channel for a very long time. So, of course, the main one, the one that everyone's talking about, and the kind of main death knell I'm seeing here for Twitch is the Emiru assault. And that is due to the failure or lack of security at TwitchCon. She was denied her own bodyguard. There was an assault, individual.
Okay. In this respect, I should say, there's been some confusion about this. As I understand it, she was denied her preferred bodyguard. That is how I understood it, is her preferred bodyguard was banned from TwitchCon because he protected her at the last TwitchCon she went to, which was like 2 years ago. Like, her preferred bodyguard did a good job of protecting her. I.e., he stopped someone from harassing her and retained the custody of the person until Twitch security could come and remove him. And because he restrained this person, not in a violent way, he literally just held on to him while the Twitch security came over to remove him. Because he did that, Twitch said, your preferred bodyguard is now banned from all TwitchCons. So she wasn't denied her own bodyguard. She was denied her preferred bodyguard that she knew keeps her safe. That is a distinction that needs to be there because she did have a bodyguard with her, but it was not her preferred bodyguard that she liked because he did a good job. So that is a distinction that needs to be made.
Came up and attempted to hug, grab, grope her without any permission, warning.
No. He grabbed her and attempted to kiss her, Andrew. She said he leaned down, lips puckered. He tried to kiss her. That it was an attempted sexual assault. He tried to kiss her.
Attempted to hug, grab, grope her without any permission, warning whatsoever. And that is a major issue, particularly since we know that Twitch has had security issues in the past. Then we had a bunch of bungled mistakes with Chibidoki's meet and greet, in which she was at first denied entry. There's some reports that she was forced to unmask herself in front of certain people in order to identify herself, and then cutting that meet and greet short. So a lot of problems there. Then you've got Hasan, the golden boy of Twitch, under pressure, which once again, while not happening at TwitchCon, happening around the same time as TwitchCon, indeed is not good for Twitch. That's their golden boy. That's Dan Clancy's favorite, and that's an obvious problem.
Yes, it's the one that Dan Clancy has permanent residency underneath his desk, desperately lapping at Hasan's inverted micropenis. We must never forget that, chat. Never forget about Hasan's inverted micropenis.
For them. And then the last, and one of the most important, is the lack of moderation of Twitch content, which perhaps is the most damaging and puts them in a category along with Roblox in terms of potential regulatory action. So let's start with
Renee. irony that Andrew just said it puts them in the same category as Roblox, considering they had a Roblox stall. I found out, I heard that they actually had a full Roblox stall at TwitchCon, and Dan Clancy was wearing a Roblox shirt during his Q&A. As a reminder, Roblox is currently under investigation and is being sued by at least 2 different states at this point because they are protecting pedophiles who have a history of grooming and stalking children offline.
Dan Clancy is the kind of man who'd fuck someone in the ass and not have the courtesy to give them a reach around.
You're giving Dan Clancy too much credit of having a dick big enough to fuck someone in the ass. Let's be real. Dan Clancy was the one that loves to take up the ass. Let's be fucking real here. All these young streamer girls that he goons around, he brings his own strap on to give them the strap on and then rail him right up the ass with. Let's be fucking real, okay? Let's be real. And yes, he was caught once again hanging out with a young, a very young 20-something streamer. He got caught on a FaceTime cam. There was another streamer that was FaceTiming with another I think she was a female streamer, young, probably early 20s, and he was right there with her. They caught him on FaceTime with her, not in a compromising position or anything, but he was there, right? He was right there with her. Yeah, be it Tuxedo Mask's probably what I'm talking about. Is like another streamer got this girl on FaceTime, and Dan Clancy was standing right there next to her, like close next to her.
Let's face it,
yeah.
Dildos are like tofu. Both are just meat substitutes.
Okay, don't insult the dildos. Don't insult the dildos. Sometimes the dildos are better than true meat. Not with you guys, of course. I'm not referring to you guys, of course. It's just, in the case of some individuals, it's better than the real thing. Not you guys, of course, not you guys. Well, I'd never say that about you guys. Of course not. Never. You guys are hung like horses, and I'm sure you are thick and meaty.
Claim. So obviously, if you saw in the video, and most people have seen the video, you can watch that in my live version, which we go over everything and all the video, all the facts. But if you saw that, you saw that, hey, she had concerns. She has a history of stalkers that have come after her. Yes. There's a massive history of security issues at TwitchCon.
Okay. Massive history of security issues at TwitchCon is putting it mildly. They had a sexual assault this year. They had 2 sexual assaults last year of male streamers that did not get the attention that it deserved. That's all coming to light now in a big way, is that 2 male streamers were sexually assaulted last year on fucking camera, and it got next to no attention. People are saying it's because it was men that got assaulted. I still kind of maintain there's been some pushback on me about this, but I still maintain that any being assaulted blew up so much because Asmongold and Tecton talked about it. I still maintain that's why it blew up the way it did, is because those 2 big streamers talked about it and broadcasted it out there, and people went, oh, wait a minute, and then, of course, because they talked about it, and started popping off on other smaller channels that were talking about it. But I still maintain that the 2 of them talking about it got the ball rolling for all these other sources that talked about it afterwards to pick it up. I still maintain that. I absolutely still maintain that. And we didn't hear about the assaults on NPLOL and Nick last year or the year before because you didn't have someone like an Asmongold or a Tectone with a very wide reach say something about it, and it didn't pick up steam in the internet zeitgeist. I still maintain that. And Tuxedo Mask, I was going there next. We are hearing more reports from smaller content creators that are there was one who was it? Was it Nikki VT or Nikki TV? And so I feel so bad. I forget his name. But there was another male streamer that also said that they were sexually assaulted at TwitchCon. Ricky VT. Thank you, Tuxiness. I feel so bad. I could not remember his name. Yes, Ricky VT reported that he was sexually assaulted at TwitchCon this year. Kanito, I believe. I am not familiar with Ricky VT, so I assume if there's the VT in his name, I'm guessing that he was a VTuber. But yeah, there have been a couple of sexual assault reports at TwitchCon this year. And that this is just the tip of the fucking iceberg. Like, there's the whole thing with Emmy being forced to do her meet and greet in the first place. We're gonna hear about the stuff with Chibidoki. Like TwitchCon has been a shit show for years. We've had sexual assault, we've had serious injuries, we've had we've had people, we've had VTubers that have been passed off gifts that have trackers in them, and people have tracked them to their homes. Yes, Dollband, there was retractable knives for sale this year. The roofie incident, Seb, that did not occur at TwitchCon itself. The VTubers that got roofied was at an off-site party that was not affiliated with TwitchCon. It was people that had been attending TwitchCon, but the incident in question was off-site and was not a TwitchCon sponsored party. So that distinction does need to be made just for factual context.
Twitch events in general, and therefore there are several causes of action that she could pursue.
No, Nick Victory, I'm wondering if you're referring to the reason why Twitch employees garbaged gifts that people brought for their VTubers. They cited that they trashed the gifts that people wanted to give to VTubers. They cited that there could be explosives in them. That may be what you're thinking of.
In general, and therefore there are several causes of action that she could pursue. First, there's the general negligence theory. So that's essentially broad negligence for failure to detain the individual. They just let them walk out. They failed to coordinate with law enforcement. Really, they bungled that overall.
They wouldn't coordinate with law enforcement. You know who coordinated with the law enforcement on this one? Emmy's manager. Emmy's manager is who coordinated with law enforcement. It was Emmy's manager that called the cops in the first place. Twitch did not. Twitch didn't call the cops, didn't notify the police at all. It took the victim's manager to call the police.
Beyond that, there's a more specific negligent security claim. So essentially, the organizer failed to provide adequate measures to prevent the incident. So sufficiently trained personnel, barriers, etc. Things they could have done to protect Emiru and the streamer. Of course, they did not do that. And
by the way, feel everyone in my fucking YouTube comments that is trying to blame Emiru for being attacked, saying, well, she should have known better. She had to take responsibility for her own personal safety. Hey, motherfuckers. The Twitch had a duty to protect their streamers in the safety provisions of the contracts for them. There was a duty to protect, which constitutes a breach of contract and negligence. So everyone's saying, oh, Emiru should have just taken care of herself. It's her own fault. She put herself out there. Go fuck yourselves. Twitch actually had a duty to provide adequate safety for her and every other single streamer that was doing a meet and greet. Go fuck yourself with your oh, it's our own fault. Fuck you, you fucking victim blaming piece of shit.
The fact that in 2019, 2022, 2024, and earlier this year in Rotterdam in 2025, there were significant security issues, they should have known. This was not a first off. This is not a first-time event. This is not something they should know about. Dan Clancy tried to play this off as, oh, this is just something that happens, and it's normal, and it's a sign of the times, and streamers can control their community. that doesn't work. As an organizer, when you put together an event, you have a responsibility for that event to be safe, particularly if there are known risks. And streamers are at risk when they're out there, not just from parasocial fans, but people that might want to hurt them or harm them. That's obviously something that is out there. And then you, of course, have breach of contract. So there may have been safety provisions, and I don't know this. This is my speculation. There may have been some provisions in her contract. So if I was her agent, or if I were her himself, I would go to a lawyer and say, hey, look, is there anything in my contract here that was breached? Because it very well may have been something breached in that contract.
Hell yes.
The last one, though,
which she's probably checking for, because don't forget, when the incident happened, excuse me, when Ennie's manager contacted the police, Ennie said that at the same time, she also called their lawyer. You can bet that Emmy's lawyer is going through that contract right now and hunting for a breach of contract for safety provisions. Guarantee you, her lawyer's going through it right now and is probably getting legal briefs prepared to levy against Twitch. I would not be surprised.
I think this one is the most poignant, is the post-incident handling leading to intentional infliction of emotional distress. I think a lot of things, such as them joking about this and, otherwise minimizing it, I think that is absolutely harmful for her, given her history with stalkers. She has a long history with stalkers. It's a known thing for her. And I think failure to do that, inflicting someone with that emotional distress and then taunting them, adding to that fire, definitely makes these viable. So I think that if she goes to a lawyer, these are all things they should look at and consider. Maybe they don't go with all of them. Maybe just go with maybe negligent security and IIED, intentional infliction of emotional distress. But these are all things that I think are very viable for Emiru. Let's get into Chibidoki. This is one that was brought up by my VTuber lovers.
Here we go.
And this is one where Chibidoki's event, and very beloved VTuber Chibidoki, had an event that was cut short. So not everybody got to see her. And that's because they were concerned about safety because the line was too long. But beyond that, they also botched the event in terms of the wristband. So they gave her a wristband to enter, and they...
Wait. The line was too long. Wait. We always meet every person. I think why I'm so long for safety, they didn't want us staying. But, okay. Okay, I'll let it cook.
Botched the event in terms of the wristband. So they gave her a wristband to enter, and they wouldn't actually let her enter. They had to send her over to the desk to get permission to enter. And at that point...
And by the way, I don't know if Andrew's going to bring this up. The whole thing with Chibi's wristband, remember, we saw the video of those two girls, and they were streamers that had those wristbands, the RFID or whatever they used in the wristbands, scan wristbands. We saw the video footage of them trying to go through security. One of the girls' wristbands didn't work. Okay, one of the girls tried to put her, put her wristband over the sensor, and the wristband wouldn't register. The sensor was not triggering. It would not go green. It went from red to yellow, and it wouldn't trigger, meaning that there was a problem. And what did Twitch security staff do? They just said, "Go on," and let her through. Yet Chibidoki, something happens with her wristband, and they say, "Oh no, you need to go to security." And Andrew's going to delve into it here, and they made her demask in public to verify her identity. Something Chibi is extremely nervous about, as would any VTuber that does not wish to reveal his or her face in public. And they made her demasked in public and potentially dox herself. Twitch did that. Twitch forced her to potentially dox herself.
Some people have reported she had to unmask herself, which, of course, for VTubers, which have
not some people, Andrew. Chibi herself said she had to unmask. This is not just some people said that she had to unmask herself. Chibi herself tweeted out that Twitch made her take her mask off in public. That's directly from her. This is not like third hand. This is not like second or third hand. This came from Chibidoki herself. She said, "I had to take my mask off," which I felt extremely nervous about.
Some people have reported she had to unmask herself, which, of course, for VTubers, which have a very, very specific security and financial interest in remaining anonymous. Number one, obviously, just like all other streamers, their identity, if they choose to remain anonymous, and put them at risk, and put them at massive risk.
Yep.
But beyond that, if you're thinking about these people financially, VTubers financially, a lot of them base their entire strategy, their entire monetary strategy, on not being unmasked. So if they're forcing a VTuber to unmask himself, to reveal himself, that is something that could undercut their actual financial stream.
I'm going to slightly disagree with Andrew on this one. Well, I don't doubt that some VTubers' entire financial strategy is maintaining their anonymity. There are a lot, and I mean a lot, of VTubers who rely on anonymity for safety. Like, I myself, I'm a VTuber, and I use a voice changer, partially because I hate the sound of my own voice. Yes, I said that from day one. I don't like the sound of my own voice. But also, largely, for a safety issue. I need to, in this day and age, in the streaming space, it is a vehement safety issue. I do want to maintain myself as being anonymous. Yeah, meaty, like Alana also. Like, that's why I keep things very close to my chest in terms of where I live, anything in regards to my family. It's why I'm very vague in regards to my family, why I do not specify, if I'm talking about parents, if I'm talking about cousins, if I'm talking about siblings, if I'm talking about aunts, uncles, grandparents, etc., etc., etc. It's why I'm very vague in regards to everything regarding my family, because it's a safety issue. Because there are a lot of parasocial crazy people out there.
Kitty girl has a beautiful voice.
Thank you, E4. It is a matter of safety. Because there are a lot of fucking crazy people out there. And it's not only about protecting myself, it's also about protecting my family. Because if somebody can't get, with the way people are, with the way people's heads are these days, and again, I'm not talking about like you guys. I'm not talking about you guys. Keep this in mind. I'm talking about people that maybe are like casual viewers. They only watch my YouTube videos or something, and they are parasocial to a psychopathic level that may try to track me down. And if they can't get to me, and if I've disclosed anything in regards to any member of my family, they may try and track them down. And it's literally just a matter of safety. It is, because there are a lot of very unhinged people out there right now. And I take the safety of myself, and especially the safety of my family, very seriously. Because I've told you guys that one very close member of my family is autistic, which makes them incredibly vulnerable. And I will die and or kill to protect them. I will happily end someone's life or sacrifice my own to protect that person in my family who I am extremely close with that is autistic. And so right now, I'm doing the best I can by maintaining a anonymity for myself and for everyone in my family. Because of that reason, because there are a lot of fucking crazy people out there. So I have to take the steps. And I suspect after, like, with everything that's been happening at TwitchCon in past years and this year, we're going to be seeing a lot more VTubers that start pulling back from sharing about themselves. Mark my words. I've said this before. we are going to be seeing a lot of VTubers that will not be as open when it comes to sharing things about themselves because they need to protect themselves because of what we have been seeing.
Model, and therefore I think there could be some financial damages there as well. So let's go over Hasan. This is one I really find interesting. So at the exact same time this is happening, I've seen several videos of Hasan kind of hitting his limit where he's saying, I'm just tired of streaming, nothing's working, no real change is happening. You see him out here with his dog and he's walking wearing a bulletproof vest with a press label on it, a press chevron.
Which by the way, this is not a real press chevron. The real press chevrons are probably about 3/4 as small as this. This is like, this press chevron is like comically large. It's comically large. The number one, he has like Velcro stuck on here. The press chevrons that the actual press wear on their armor is actually slightly lower. It's more centralized on the chest. And it's not comically large like this. No, he's not press. He's LARPing as press. He's just, what he's doing is he's wearing this to get attention. That's why he's wearing this. He's wearing this just to get attention so people's eyes will be drawn to the giant press chevron on here, and people will come over and talk to him, and he can get them on stream. He can get it on stream, people walking over to him and glazing him up and, slurping, calorping all over his inverted micropenis. That's why he's wearing this. He's doing it for attention. Pure and simple. This is all attention seeking.
On it, walking around a very, very peaceful city, and people are obviously pillorying him for that. I will say this, and I am obviously taking a different route, and you've seen this with a lot of my coverage of Somali Vitali, where
teen claiming to be press. No, that's right. No, he is tiny. He is an inverted micropenis. Never forget that. Never forget that. And Keen, to your point, claiming to be press gives you extra protections in the USA only if you are able to provide those credentials. You have to provide actual press credentials in order to receive the extra protections in the US. Just walking around with a vest that has press on it doesn't give you those protections. There's no credentials to accompany this, so he doesn't get the extra protections of being quote unquote press.
Taking a different route, and you've seen this with a lot of my coverage of Somali Vitali, where even the people that are my enemies, even the people that don't like me, I still say they deserve a chance, they deserve an option to do good, to be forgiven, to choose the right path, choose the good path. Even Hasan, I'm willing to look past all the defamation that he's done and say, hey, Hasan, for the best, and I can say this myself, having just taken a streaming break, it's one of the best things I did in my life, to just take a solid break where I just didn't look at the internet for several days. That actually was quite good. And one of the things I did do during that time was do some charity work. I actually gave we helped somebody prepare food and give it to the less fortunate. I did some donations, helping out the homeless, going to the temples here in Thailand. And once again, I think that's very fulfilling. Hasan's in LA. They got Skid Row.
Hi, cronies. Hello, Raiders. Welcome in. Welcome in. We're going over legal mindsets discussion about what happened at TwitchCon. We're getting some legalese stuff in here regarding the fallout of TwitchCon. So welcome in. You had a great stream, and join us while we see just how badly Twitch is fucked.
Down there between, 3rd and 7th, right? Where he could go down there and help the homeless, help people out. If he wants to do something in line with his socialist views, he could go start a community garden. He could go pick up a shovel and start digging and plant some plants. Whatever. I think that would actually do him some good right now, rather than streaming and continuing to dig himself deeper, as Collargate is not going anywhere anytime soon. That's going to be going on for a very, very, very long time. And I think it actually raises some very interesting questions.
And Collargate's not going away anytime soon, especially because it made Hasan have that glorious crash out on stream. And for those of you that didn't see it, Hasan absolutely fucking crashed out on stream. saying he hates streaming, he hates all the negative attention that he's getting. He just completely crashed out on stream. It was fucking glorious to see it. I think I've got the tweet of it. I might pull it off after Andrew's thing there.
Particularly in regards to, and I do stand by this, of, hey, look, you're putting the shock collar on the dog, put the shock collar on Hasan. Someone actually suggested to me that they do it as an armband or on the dominant hand or on the wrist. So it shocks somebody there if they go to do an action, which would be very, very, very Pavlovian training for somebody who's doing something wrong. But once again, I think Hasan definitely needs to step back for a second as kind of the profile of a spoiled Nepo baby who's never seen anything real. Instead of going out and doing fashion shoots and GQ or whatever else, he needs to go out and actually help people, and maybe he'll be more fulfilled, and maybe he'll actually...
Or better yet, how about he try working a real fucking job? How about that? Hasan has never worked a fucking day in his life. He has not. I think he has grown up being a content creator. He has never worked an actual job in his life. Stick him in McDonald's for a month. Let him spend a month putting fries in the bag. Give him some fucking perspective. Like, let him actually do work.
You know, go down a better path. But, of course, we can only hope, right? We can only hope. Now, let's go here with moderation. This is a big one, and this is one that I'm very interested in, particularly as I think it's heading down the Roblox route, essentially, because with recent tests, which I've seen others run on Twitch, with starting a new channel and trying to stream whatever, including very vile content that would not be acceptable on most other major platforms, stuff that would get you banned immediately. Well, all of that stuff bypassed the filters, all that stuff got on Twitch without any moderation. And the big issue that appears to happen is Twitch appears to lack any automated moderation, relying on manual moderation. The problem with that, with purely manual moderation, particularly if it's not getting the most vile stuff, is number one, you're letting a lot of stuff that clearly breaks TOS pass. But beyond that, you're actually engaging in discriminatory moderation. So some are...
Tectone, anyone? Tectone is basically the poster child for being a victim of discriminatory moderation. He is the fucking poster child of this right now. Like, Twitch, they put him in their crosshairs and never gave up. And they just, you saw it happen. He called Froken fat, caught a week ban. Called Denims a whore, caught a 2-week ban. Like, he has been, you know, he caught like 5 bans in like, what was it, like a month or a 2-month period? Something like that. He caught 5 fucking bans from Twitch for some of the most absolutely benign shit imaginable and stuff that wasn't even against their TOS. But because Twitch exercised extremely discriminatory moderation, i.e. they targeted him because he called out their golden children, he got slapped around. Well, in the meantime, their golden children are screaming bloody murder, literally screaming for bloody murder of people, screaming for the murder of government officials, screaming for the murder of capitalists, screaming that America deserved 9/11, screaming that they hope that U.S. military veterans get PTSD, or wanting to bake a cake celebrating the terrorist attack of 9/11 in favor of the terrorists, screaming that Jews should be slaughtered, and saying that another streamer on another platform is a viable military target because she used to be part of the IDF years ago. Not a fucking thing happens to them. And there's a lot more. I bypassed a lot of shit that they've said. Trust me, I know. I bypassed a lot of shit. I gave a sample size there. Not a fucking thing is done with them. Tectone calls Frogan fat because guess what? She is. And he gets a week-long ban. He gets a week-long ban. Absolutely, it's discriminatory.
punished severely. Some are punished a very long time. You call somebody fat, you're out for, a month, whatever, right? Whereas others are not punished at all. They're given a pass. This is something that leads to
they're not only given a pass, they're sung happy birthday to by the management team of Twitch, including Dan Clancy. Let's be real here. It's not simply they get a pass. They get fucking glazed up by the head of Twitch and everyone that works for him. Okay, this needs to be said. The people the people that they favor, their favorites, get a pass on everything, and they get celebrated. Literally, they get celebrated. The people that don't glaze up Twitch and call facts, they get banned off the platform. Yeah, that's not discriminatory at all, is it?
A massive danger for regulatory action, that is states taking action, and especially if this dangerous content is getting out there to people that are minors, which is a massive.
Okay, sorry, I'm pausing a lot. This passing, actually want to address that. Where you said you're of the opinion that internet access is a privilege, not a right. I disagree in the modern age. In days past, I would have agreed with you. Now, in the modern age, internet access has gotten to the point where it has become effectively a right. You have so many governmental services, if not other essential services, that are accessible only by internet. There are a lot of governments, local, state, and federal, that you cannot facilitate use of these services via phone or even via in person. It is internet only. You can access these services. A lot of have moved in this direction that you can only access them via their website. So while I might have agreed with you before, I think now in the modern day, internet service is a right, and it is also an essential service, because of the way governments and businesses have moved in terms of their accessibility to the populace.
Part of the Twitch ecosystem. So if you look at the Roblox regulatory action, you could see very similar stuff happening on Twitch, because they know this is an issue. They very well know this is an issue, and they're just choosing to ignore that. So my conclusions here are Twitch is facing all of these issues at once. And because they're facing all of these issues at once again, it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next week.
This is going to be slow.
This can be the death spiral for Twitch. This could be as they go down or as they get hit. And what could happen? Well, of course, you also have parent company Amazon, which was just cyber attacked, likely due to their over-reliance on AI by Amazon Web Services. That just happened today, right? You could have a lot of that stuff maybe is going to be automated. Maybe AI is going to take over. Of course, there's problems with that.
Unfortunately,
without, a human link in that chain, it can be kind of sloppy. It can miss things. It can over-regulate. And I think the time is right for lawsuits right now, regulatory action or replacement of Twitch leadership, aka.
And I think we're going to see that. Call me crazy. Oh, that's not she. I actually disagree. I think Emmy and her team are already looking into a lawsuit against Twitch. I suspect that I think Emmy may lead the charge in filing in starting the lawsuits on Twitch. She may not. This is of course speculation. But after what happened to her and how publicized it got, I suspect actually it's not going to be once the first one goes, dozens will follow. No. I think once the first one goes, people are going to be coming out of the woodwork saying, "Can we jump in on this?" And it's going to turn into a class action. So I don't think that there are going to be dozens of lawsuits. I think there's going to be one giant class action lawsuit with God knows how many content creators all jumping on board saying, "Yep, I'm in. Let's fucking do it." And I suspect it's going to be that's going to happen. And I think Emmy may spearhead this. We'll see. Maybe she won't. This is, again, it's speculation. But I think Emiru may be the first domino to fall in this in regards to it. Well, Xanax, they might try to, but let's be realistic. I think if they did try to pay her off, I think she'd refuse. Emmy doesn't need the money. Emiru is doing very well financially with, her stream and all of her other projects. I believe, she's part of Starforge, isn't she? I do believe. Like, Emmy doesn't need the money. So if they tried to pay her off, she'll probably go like, now, my guess is if Emmy does bring the first lawsuit and they try to pay her off, they'll probably tell her, yeah, we want Dan Clancy and everyone in the upper management at Twitch gone. That's my suspicion. That's my suspicion. And once, the first one goes in, everybody's going to be jumping in. This passing, possible. I saw part of the stream where Andrew talked about that, where someone asked if there could be OSHA violations on here. And Andrew was like, I don't know, but go for it. Absolutely go for it, of trying to file an OSHA violation. Like, try to do that. Absolutely. It's an avenue that can be explored. And, Andrew couldn't say yay or nay on whether or not there was an OSHA violation, but it's certainly an avenue that could be substantially explored for sure. Whether or not there is an OSHA violation that could be put into play, no clue, but we'll see. So, yeah, this is, I think, what's going to be the start of the end. Like, yes, we've seen these problems. We've seen these problems with Twitch and with TwitchCon in previous TwitchCon events. We've seen the issues with TwitchCon in whole. I think what happened to Emiru and the fact that it received so much publicity for what happened, why it happened, what led up to it happening, what the response of it post-event happening, all of that, because it is exploded, I think that is finally going to, this I think is maybe the beginning of the end for Twitch, at least in its current format. At least in its current format, I think this will be the beginning of the end for Twitch. I do think that Dan Clancy's days are numbered. At this point, his days are numbered. At the bare minimum, I think Amazon may tell Dan Clancy he's to step down to get someone new in a place, just to try and buy themselves time and to try and do as a publicity thing, look, okay, everybody's been saying get rid of Dan Clancy, we're getting rid of him and we're putting someone else in there. So I do think Dan Clancy is going to be gone before too long. I do think we will hear that he is out as CEO before too long. And Dolben, yeah. Actually, I don't know about Amazon contacting Emiru's management team. I do know that when Emiru was attacked, the shit was so bad that Amazon actually flew out some major Amazon executives to TwitchCon because of what happened. Now, whether or not they spoke with Emmy and her management team, no clue. But major, big Amazon officials did fly out to TwitchCon.
Dan Clancy. So I think the time is right for all of these things. And I think we should continue to monitor it very, very closely because I think there will be action. Emiru definitely should bring a claim, definitely should try something against Twitch. There's no reason not to at this point, and there's more than enough basis for her to bring that on one of those causes of action. But I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know if you like the Fast Facts. If you're glad I'm back, hit the like button, and I will catch you on the next one.
So yeah, there we go. Here we go. This is, yeah. I think this is going to be the beginning and the end for Twitch. In its current form. In its current form, I think this is going to be the beginning of the end. And I'm here for it. 100% I'm fucking here for it.